Well, I sure picked a hell of a game to do my first game analysis, but we're going to stick with it and go ahead and dive into the analysis. Going into the game, everyone was expecting a barrage of goals, including myself, from both sides. Along with goals, most people also thought that Liverpool would take advantage of an injury riddled Leicester side who had just suffered a humiliating 6-3 defeat at the Etihad to Manchester City on Boxing Day, just 51 hours ago. Klopp lined up in his typical 4-3-3 with Mane, Jota, and Salah leading the line, a midfield consisting of Henderson, Fabinho, and controversially including Ox instead of Keita. Backline lined up as normal except for Smeekus, filling in for Robertson, who's serving another game of his suspension. Leicester lined up in a new system with a few midfielders playing center back for the injured defenders. Matip got a yellow inside the first 5 minutes of the game, but the major talking point of the first half is Salah missing a penalty in the 16th minute as well as the follow-up. Liverpool's high press was causing Leicester players a lot of trouble. However, Liverpool's forwards could not take advantage of the team's press. It just looked like that final pass was missing. Nobody could really sling it across the box to a open attacker. Liverpool looked most dangerous when collecting possession, distributing to Trent Alexander-Arnold. He would then immediately switch play to Tsimikas and attack the box from the left side directly. This is when Liverpool was creating the best chances from the first half. During the first half, Leicester looked like they could either score two or concede two at any moment. They were all over the place. At halftime, my thoughts were that Mane and Salah were not playing their best. They were taking heavy touches, finding it difficult to get past their outside back. Major performer of the first half was young English midfielder Drewsbury Hall for Leicester. He controlled the play for Leicester, fantastic on and off the ball, working hard for midfield, attack, and defense. So when the second half kicks off, no team makes any changes. Liverpool starts the second half pretty strong, pin Leicester right back into their own half. Game was developing a weird openness to it. Neither team's midfielder were holding on for the ball too long from the start of the second half up until about the 55th minute. Best chance for Liverpool came when Mane broke through on goal, yet he sent the ball over when most people would have expected him to finish comfortably. Lookman finishes off a brilliant move from Leicester almost immediately after coming on. After the Leicester goal, Liverpool really struggled to beat Leicester's low block. Leicester were getting almost all their players behind the ball, 2 blocks of 4. Liverpool just couldn't deal with it. The rest of the second half is much of the same. Leicester do really well with all their corners, something they normally struggle with, especially considering they had a ragtag backline and it wouldn't have been their first choice center backs. Leicester see the game out very well, with the result finishing in an uneasy 1-0 win for Leicester, unexpectedly. For me, the man of the match was the young midfielder Drewsbury Hall. He didn't put a foot wrong all game. He was great at controlling Leicester's pace of their play. This is going to be a breakout game for Drewsbury Hall. There's going to be a lot of people talking about him, including myself, from this point on. He's a bit of a unknown one. He was in League One last season, where he got onto the League One team of the season. But now let's talk about Liverpool in this game. Credit to Leicester and Rodgers. They were both brilliant, especially considering all the injuries and the lack of preparation time in between games. Liverpool's forwards couldn't find the necessary space to get in behind that Leicester backline. Like I said before, Leicester's low block really made it difficult for Liverpool to create a lot of chances going forward. Their center backs also did really well defending our crosses. Trent and Tsimikas couldn't really pick out the crosses that they normally can. None of Liverpool's subs had much of an impact on the game. While they were brought in at proper times, I would say, none of them had too much of an impact. Around the 70th minute, it looked like we switched to a 4-2-4 or 4-2-3-1 with Keita and Milner being the two holding midfielders. I agree with what Klopp said in the post-game interview. He said, quote, "I'm not sure what it is, but it just wasn't our night," end quote. Liverpool are now 6 points behind Manchester City. They now play third place Chelsea, whom they are tied with at 41 points. I was hoping for a bit better of a result for my first post-game analysis, but we move on, I suppose. If you enjoyed this analysis, why not leave a like, maybe leave a comment, or if you really enjoyed, maybe even consider subscribing. Keep a lookout for more videos like this and other Liverpool and football related videos in the future.